Hello and welcome, dear friends. Most people think that the egg is the gold standard for protein, but what if I told you that you have been lied to? What if I told you that the food at number 3 on our list today has more than 5 times the protein of an egg per 100 grams? And that is not even the most powerful one, because the number 1 food on our list that we are going to reveal has even more protein than that. It is so powerful that scientists are studying it to reverse muscle loss in patients who have suffered a stroke. The egg only gives us about 13 grams of protein per 100 grams. But the foods you will see today in this video go far beyond this, and some of them have up to 60 grams of protein. The scary truth is that 99% of people do not even know that things like this exist. Meanwhile, muscle mass begins to quietly decrease after age 40, causing weakness, slow walking, and even falls. Today in this video, I have listed 10 foods that have more protein than eggs, ranked from number 10 to number 1. So stay until the end of this video, because the number 1 on our list could be the most powerful and most ignored muscle-building food on the planet, and you will find it in the most unusual aisle of the store. Yes, all the claims in this video are backed by real published research, and you can find the links in the description below. Now, before we start, tell us in the comments where you are watching this video from and how old you are. Also, support this content with your likes. And if you enjoyed this video, write the number 1 in the comments. Now, without further delay, let us start with food number 10. This is one of those foods that goes unnoticed, but most people do not know how powerful it really is. Food number 10 on our list is Greek yogurt, or if you cannot find it, our homemade strained yogurt. It is a fat-free strained yogurt with 10.3 grams of protein per 100 grams. You have probably heard that Greek yogurt is healthy, but most people do not know that the fat-free version is actually very high in protein. With more than 10 grams of protein per 100 grams, it easily beats a hard-boiled egg, which only has 6.3 grams of protein. This is almost double the muscle-building value, but with less fat. What makes Greek yogurt and strained yogurt different is their 3-stage process. This process removes much of the liquid whey and lactose, leaving a rich, creamy texture with incredibly concentrated protein. A clinical study published in 2020 in the journal Nutrition showed that older adults who consumed at least 20 grams of dairy protein per day, especially when combined with walking, experienced a 25% improvement in muscle preservation over 12 weeks. Now, the best part of all this is that Greek yogurt and strained yogurt are among the easiest foods to eat and digest. Even for those with sensitive stomachs or mild lactose intolerance, choose plain, fat-free Greek yogurt and add a tablespoon of ground flax seeds or fresh berries. You can also use it as a creamy, protein-rich base in smoothies or even in sauces. Okay, now let us talk about another surprising protein hero that has been forgotten in your pantry for years. Number 9, cooked chickpeas. It has 11.2 grams of protein per 100 grams. Most people see chickpeas only as a filler ingredient in salads, soups, and stews, but chickpeas hide a special power inside them. With more than 11 grams of protein per 100 grams after cooking, chickpeas quietly surpass the egg in maintaining muscle mass. And unlike the egg, chickpeas offer something that older people desperately need: fiber. This means better digestion, more stable blood sugar levels, and less inflammation in the body. All of this directly affects your ability to maintain lean muscle mass as you age. A study has also been published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. This study showed that older people who replaced animal proteins with plant options, such as legumes, for example chickpeas, experienced up to 26% less age-related muscle loss, thanks to reduced systemic inflammation and improved gut microbiota. Chickpeas are also rich in magnesium, a mineral that helps your muscles contract and recover properly. To get the most out of chickpeas, soaking them before cooking makes digestion easier and increases their nutritional value. You can mash them with olive oil and garlic, or add them to your stews, soups, and broth to enjoy them. Their creamy texture and nutty flavor make chickpeas one of the most versatile protein-rich foods that you probably are not eating enough of. Now let us talk about a food that is often ignored because of its small size, but in every bite it contains a very powerful protein. Number 8, cooked quinoa. 14 grams of protein per 100 grams. Most people know quinoa as a carbohydrate or simply as a trendy seed. But if you are over 60 years old, quinoa can be one of the smartest additions to your food selection. especially for breakfast or lunch. Why? Because quinoa, even after cooking, contains about 14 grams of complete, high-quality protein per 100 grams. That is right, quinoa is one of the few plant foods that contains all types of essential amino acids that your body cannot produce on its own. That means it is not only high in protein, it is usable protein that your muscles can absorb and turn into strength. What makes this even more important for older people is that quinoa has an exceptionally high lysine content. Lysine is a substance that is very important for muscle repair, calcium absorption, and even collagen formation. A study was conducted in the year 2022 on nutrients. It showed that older adults who consumed quinoa daily, compared to the control group that ate white rice, experienced a 9% increase in leg strength in just 8 weeks. The best way to prepare quinoa for maximum benefit is to soak it the night before. This reduces anti-nutrients like saponins and increases the bioavailability of its proteins. Then cook it gently with bone broth or low-sodium vegetable broth to add minerals. You can even add turmeric or black pepper to boost its anti-inflammatory properties. Quinoa is an excellent base for warm salads, stir-fries, or even delicious breakfast bowls that you can sauté with spinach and mushrooms and enjoy. A key point is consistency and regularity in its consumption. Just 3/4 of a cup a day can make a real difference in muscle recovery and your energy. Now let us move on to number 7. This is a food that bodybuilders rely on, but most of our dear seniors ignore it completely. Number 7, pumpkin seeds. 19 grams of protein per 100 grams. Pumpkin seeds may be small, but they are surprisingly packed with nutrients and components that build muscle. With 19 grams of protein per 100 grams, they have almost twice the protein of eggs, but it is not just the quality. What comes with that protein is also important. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest plant sources of magnesium, iron, and zinc, minerals that are often missing, especially in people over 60 years old. And why is this important? Magnesium plays an important role in muscle contraction and relaxation. Iron helps transport oxygen to muscle tissues, and zinc contributes to regulating muscle regeneration. So when your body lacks these nutrients, protein alone is not enough to maintain lean muscle mass. Even more important is that a study has been published in the Journal of Food and Medicine. This study has shown that daily consumption of pumpkin seeds reduces muscle inflammatory markers in adults by up to 38% in just 12 weeks. This means that you not only maintain your strength, but you also actively reverse the silent inflammation that over time destroys muscle fibers. The best way to consume pumpkin seeds is raw and unsalted to avoid sodium and processed ingredients. You can add them to yogurt, mix them into smoothies, or grind them and use them as a protein-rich cream to add to your meals. Just a small handful of them can provide enough protein and minerals to make a real difference in the strength and recovery of your muscles. You may have never heard of food number 6, but it is an excellent source of protein. Tempeh, every 100 grams contains about 20 grams of protein. That is, it even has more protein than the egg. But more important than the amount of protein is the type of protein it provides to our body. Unlike tofu, which is a Japanese food made from soy milk, tempeh is made from whole fermented soybeans. This fermentation makes it easier to digest and releases many nutrients, which is especially beneficial for muscles in older ages. Tempeh contains all the essential amino acids, especially leucine, which after age 60 is very important, since muscles respond less to protein and this decreases in people's bodies. On the other hand, tempeh is full of probiotics. That is, it feeds the good bacteria in the gut, which helps us absorb and use proteins better. Many older adults do not lose muscle mass just from consuming little protein, but also from poor digestion and absorption of food. Even research showed that people with a healthier gut increase their lean muscle mass by 18% more over a year. Tempeh not only has the necessary nutrients to build muscle, but also the tools to take advantage of those nutrients. To eat it, you can cut it into thin slices or marinate it with a little apple cider vinegar. You can add it to vegetable stir-fries, put it on sandwiches, or add it to salads. This way you get protein and fiber, control inflammation, and also help intestinal health. Food number 5, spirulina. 29 grams of protein per 100 grams. Perhaps at first glance it looks like sidewalk debris, but spirulina is one of the most powerful foods for maintaining muscle mass in the world. This dark green algae contains 29 grams of protein per 100 grams, almost 3 times more than the egg. But its real miracle is not just the quantity, but the way your body reacts to it. Spirulina protein is approximately 85% bioavailable, which means that your muscles use it much more efficiently than most other proteins. Since spirulina contains all types of essential amino acids, including a high concentration of leucine, using it is like sending a powerful message to aging muscle fibers to grow, repair, and strengthen. What makes spirulina even more special is its strong anti-inflammatory property. People who struggle with muscle loss often face mild inflammation that prevents their muscles from regenerating and accelerates their deterioration. Spirulina contains phycocyanin, a rare compound that, according to a study published in 2022 in the journal Nutrition, has been shown to reduce the level of active C-reactive protein, or CRP, an important marker of inflammation, by up to 32%. At the same time, it increases nitric oxide, which helps improve blood flow to muscle tissue and speeds up repair and nutrient delivery. You do not need to consume several tablespoons of spirulina powder on your own. The best way to use it is to mix it with banana, spinach, and some walnuts in a smoothie, or add it to hot oatmeal right after cooking it. You can also combine it with dates and seeds to make homemade protein balls and consume them. But the key point is consistency and stability. 1 teaspoon a day is enough to see significant benefits in just a few weeks. Now, next we are going to talk about one of the oldest muscle-building foods in the world that most people today have forgotten. However, it may be the easiest protein to digest on this list. But before we continue, if you have enjoyed this video so far, hit the like button. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell so you do not miss our other videos. Number 4. Hemp seeds. 35 grams of protein per 100 grams. You have probably seen them sprinkled on smoothie bowls or hidden on the shelves of health food stores. But what most people do not know is that hemp seeds are one of the most complete sources of plant protein in the world. With an average of 34 grams of protein per 100 grams, they are right in the middle of this powerful list. What really makes hemp seeds unique is not just the amount of protein, but also its quality. Unlike most plant proteins, hemp contains all types of essential amino acids in the right proportions that the body needs, which is rare. Even quinoa does not meet this criterion as effectively. For people who lose muscle mass after age 60, this amino acid balance is much more important than we can even imagine. A study conducted in 2021 in the journal Nutrition showed that older adults who consumed complete plant proteins like hemp, compared to those who did not, had significantly better muscle preservation, faster recovery after exercise, and less age-related fatigue. But their benefits are not limited to muscles alone. Hemp seeds are also rich in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which can help reduce inflammation in the joints, support brain function, and even improve heart health in older adults. The best way to take advantage of all their properties is to consume them raw. Add a tablespoon to your oatmeal, mix them into smoothies, or sprinkle them over roasted vegetables to release and enjoy their delicious nutty flavor. Unlike many other seeds, their digestion is extremely easy, making them ideal for the digestive system of older people. Just avoid cooking them directly over high heat, as this can destroy their delicate oils. For those looking for a simple food, no preparation needed, that helps build muscle, that is comparable to the egg, and that can be mixed with any meal, the hemp seed is a hidden gem that most do not know about. Food number 3 is seitan, which you may have never heard its name. Seitan is a plant food that they call wheat meat because it is made from wheat protein, that is, gluten. Can you believe that in every 100 grams, it has approximately 39 grams of protein? That means it even has more protein than most of the meats we eat, and which are also very expensive. But it does not contain saturated fats or the heaviness of meat. Its main advantage for older people is that it is digested and absorbed very easily. In the preparation process, most of the starch and fiber from the wheat is separated, and a substance that is almost pure protein remains. This means that even if your digestive system has weakened or you have digestion problems, your body can take advantage of its protein more easily. A study also showed that older people who consume pure plant proteins like seitan retain 21% more of their muscle mass compared to others. On the other hand, seitan has very few carbohydrates and practically no fat, which is excellent for diabetes, high cholesterol, or being overweight. In the kitchen, it is also like a chameleon. Its texture is firm, chewy, and very similar to that of meat. You can cut it into pieces and sauté it with garlic and olive oil. Roast it like a steak, or you can use it in your meals however you like best. An important fact, if you eat seitan with vegetables rich in iron, such as kale or peppers, iron absorption increases. And if you also accompany it with vitamin C, the absorption of its nutrients multiplies several times. This is one of the foods that protects our muscles after age 60, that few people have heard of, has received little attention, and nobody talks about it. Now, if up to here you thought that the foods I mentioned were very special, wait until you hear this next one. The next food not only has more protein than the others, but it is also quite ancient and traditional. It melts in your mouth and is absorbed even 30% better than meat. Number 2, Parmesan cheese. Can you believe that every 100 grams has about 42 grams of protein? It is one of the richest protein sources that you may have in your refrigerator right now. It is not meat, not a supplement, not a strange powder. It is that delicious cheese that many may have. Of course, I am referring to authentic Italian Parmesan. And if you do not find it, aged cheese also has the same properties. This amount of protein is greater than that of the egg, greater than that of beef, and even has twice the protein of cottage cheese or milk. But what is very important for people over 60 years old is how easily the body can absorb this protein. Since Parmesan is aged between 12 and 36 months, it has very little lactose and is full of free amino acids. That is, the body does not have to work hard to release its protein. Now, after age 60, when digestion and enzymes become slower, this is very valuable. Even research in the year 2019 showed that older people digest and use the protein from aged cheeses approximately 30% better than that from meat. In other words, each bite is more effective for muscle formation and also bothers the stomach less. The most important thing is that aged cheeses and Parmesan cheese are full of leucine, a key amino acid for building muscle and preventing it from weakening with age. Just 30 grams of Parmesan can provide your body with more than 1.5 grams of leucine, which is enough to activate muscle growth. Its use is also very simple. First, let us try to get authentic Parmesan cheese. Grate it fresh and sprinkle it over hot vegetables, omelets, or even whole grains. And you can use it in all kinds of meals, which is also very pleasant when eating it. But do not overdo it in its consumption because it is a protein bomb, and a few tablespoons are enough for you. But we have reached number 1 on our list, which perhaps its name seems very strange to you. Dried fish powder. Every 100 grams of this contains 63 grams of protein. It is usually made from low-fat white fish, such as cod or haddock. When the water is removed from it, it practically becomes pure protein. This means it has more protein than chicken breast, whey protein, and even most supplements. The golden fact is that our body absorbs it very quickly and easily, so almost immediately it starts working on muscle building. An interesting study conducted in 2020 showed that older people who took a tablespoon of dried fish powder a day, even without doing special exercise, increased their lean muscle mass by approximately 19% in 10 weeks. This powder is rich in essential amino acids, especially leucine. Just 25 grams contains more than 3 grams of leucine, which is more than enough to effectively stimulate muscle growth. Do not worry, you do not need to eat it by the spoonful. You can mix it with soup, stews, mashed vegetables, or even with oatmeal, and it is very tasty. Also, it keeps well, is easy to use, and is ideal for those who have trouble chewing or use dentures. Just make sure to choose a good quality version, without salt and without flavorings. So to summarize, I tell you that these 10 foods really have more protein than the egg, and it is scientifically proven that they can prevent muscle loss after age 60. Most older people lose up to 1% of their muscle mass every year, but with a good choice you can reverse this process. Remember that the number 1 food I mentioned has almost 3 times more protein than an egg, and research says it can recover up to 20% of your muscle mass without needing to do any exercise. Supplement companies do not want anyone to know this information because it does not suit them. These were 10 real foods that have much more protein than the egg. Science has shown that these can prevent muscle loss after age 60. Most older people lose up to 1% of their muscle mass every year, but with the right choice we can reverse this process. Remember, Many of these foods have several times more protein than the egg, and research says they can recover up to 20% of muscle mass without needing to do a single exercise. Supplement companies do not want you to know this information because it does not suit them. So this very week, add to your diet any of these foods that you have on hand. See how your energy and movement return. By the way, with the name of, which of these foods surprised you the most? I thank you very much for joining me. I hope this video has been useful to you. Do not forget to like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the bell, because every night at 10 o'clock we share the most important health information on this channel. Well, see you in the next video. I leave you now in the hands of God, and may He always bless you.